Welcome back to Stationeers, guys, and today I'm doing this to create a tutorial to how to assemble the basic furnace using my two scripts. So for that you're gonna need two hash displays, a couple glass sheets, a couple consoles, for grating for making the building or whatever you're making it a little bit prettier, some passive vents, a furnace, volume pumps, some pipes, a tank, a couple IC chips, a couple IC housings, a pipe analyzer, some cable, and some walls. So let's start. We'll start first with the basic furnace. So we decide where we want to put it. So in this case, I'm gonna just place it something along the lines like, let's see if I can find, there you go. Let's see, let's flip it, no. Flip it again. And yeah, like this. So I want to place the furnace somewhere around, let's say here. There you go, and now I finish it up. And I don't need it anymore, so bye-bye. So this is our furnace placed on, in this case, gonna be on this platform, or in their case, could be anywhere in the base. So either can put it outside the base, inside the base, is your choice. Next, we're gonna set the pumps. So you're gonna need primarily 3 pumps. First, we're gonna need the pipe. And the pipe, you're gonna have one pipe for the exhaust pipe, you're gonna have a pipe for the fuel tank, for the fuel line, and another pipe for the coolant. So I'm gonna paint the pipe accordingly as I want. So for coolant, and let's say this color for the exhaust. You can paint you can paint the pipes whatever color you want. It's up to you guys. So first of all, I'll insert on the input that's on the other side, unfortunately. So I guess I'm gonna flip the furnace on upside down so it gets better for me to be to have the input on this side, because I have the fuel line here. So I will do that. I need a crowbar to finish assemble it. Now let's place it back like this. So now we finish it up, and now we have the inputs on this side. That's the side we want. So let's make a connection for the fuel line. So remember, the best way to have everything is to set it up with only one pipe between the pumps and the furnace. So the less pipe that has, the better it will work. So I want to set the pump for the fuel, and now I will finish the pipe that goes from the fuel, in my case is from here, into the volume pump. So I will grab my wrench that I placed here and bring a pipe to the furnace. Like this. There's the fuel line to the pump. Now let's paint the pipe from another color that I have here with me, and let's be this color for the coolant. Crap. Let me grab the orange, paint this volume pump so I know that this pump is for the fuel line. And now I come here and I do this for the coolant. And for the coolant, we're gonna need another volume pump. like this. It's gonna be painted color of the coolant. Use whatever color you want. It's up to you with whatever color you want. I'm just using pink here because for reasons unknown. Now I'm gonna need a tank for my coolant. So next thing, I'm gonna set up a tank for my coolant. So I have a tank kit. I place it, let's say, here. And this is gonna be my tank for my coolant that I'm gonna paint pink as well. I grab the pipe and I bring it to the furnace and connect it where the volume pump is. Not like this. I corner this side, and now it goes outside. And connect there. So this is our coolant line and our fuel line set up. Now let's just place the output pipe. And because the furnace doesn't have, this furnace doesn't have an internal pump, we need to have a volume pump to extract the gases from the furnace whenever the gas is too cold and is no longer useful to us. So there it is. Paint the volume pump the same color and finish up with the pipe. So in my case, I'm just gonna vent the gases into the atmosphere because, well, I don't have a base, but you guys can always grab the excess pipe, put them into a buffer tank with a couple radiators so it loses some temperature, and then you can always recycle those gases with your filtration system. In my case, I'm just gonna add a vent to vent the gases out. There you go. And this is all the pipes that I need to do in this furnace. Now next, I'm gonna add a couple walls that I have right there. So drop this, grab the walls, and enclose the furnace into a couple walls. And why do you ask? And ask well, why do I enclose my furnace into walls? Well, the question is simple. If you want to have your furnace inside your base, it's always a good idea to enclose your furnace within walls, because if you don't do that, the furnace will heat up your base like crazy amounts, and then you have a lot of trouble trying to cool down back your base. And for seconds, if you're building your furnace outside the base, and you are on a planet, let's say like Europa, and it's very extremely cold, so what will happen is that your furnace is gonna lose the temperature very quickly, and you're gonna have to be burning fuel constantly. So what happens is you have less time with your furnace activated. So now let's go finish the rest. Now we're gonna need a couple consoles for very simple reasons. So we're gonna need one hash display console, another hash display console. We're gonna need okay, let's change the spot here of this to be like here. And now we need 3 LED displays. So one for the temperature, one for the pressure, and one for the reagents amount. Okay, so now let's connect everything. Oh, I'll connect everything. But first, I'm gonna need to add one dial and one lever and one button. So I need to go here, switch, and spawn a couple switches. And now let's place a dial, let's say beneath this console here, a button here, and a lever. And that's everything that you're gonna need for this system. Now what you want to do is connect everything with heavy cables or normal cables, whatever. What I like to do normally here to simplify things is I like to place, like I did here, a transformer into my, and use the normal cable as a data cable, so that way when I'm searching things on the screws, I don't have to read the entire things that are connected into the system. So what happens is the transformers will work as a barrier and will not allow you to read everything that is past the transformer. It will only allow you to read everything that is from this point forward into the system. So in this case, I'm going, the only things device is going to show up is the computer, the transformer itself, the gas mixer, and this fuel analyzer. So that way you're gonna be much easier to find the stuff they want to program into your code or logic circuits. So let's start by connecting everything together. I need my wire cutters, and connect to the consoles up top. And let's check if everything is connected properly. Now I need to connect as well to the 3 volume pumps that are in here. That's why I didn't close the entire room yet. So now let's connect the volume pumps together to the rest of the system. Goes like this, goes down. And also, guys, do not forget to connect your furnace as well. And now this cable goes forward and connects to the other cable. Like this. Now everything is connected and everything is on the same circuit. So once everything has been done, you also, guys, gonna need a couple chutes so chutes, come on, there we go. I just spawned a couple extra, not a problem. Gonna drop you because I'm not gonna need it, and a couple chutes. And now you're gonna need to connect a chute to the input of the furnace. Goes something like this. It goes down, goes forward, and then it goes up here. Now I'm gonna add a chute inlet, a chute pin, like this. And on the other side, I'm just gonna go with a simple thing, just a couple straight pieces. To the output, to the outside of the room. Okay, so hey guys, everything is added. So now we need to close everything. I don't need any more chutes. I need to finish up closing everything. So first, I'm gonna spawn some plastics. So, plastics. And spawn them. Drop this and start closing my walls. To close the entire furnace out. And being done, I could use just the magic wand to finish up the walls. Well. I need to close the roof as well. And to make it look better, just gonna add a second layer of walls. Like this. And this is the furnace room done. So furnace has been encased, everything has been added. So now it is time to add the codes. So I'm gonna need, first of all, I'm gonna grab these two hash consoles and place the hash display into both consoles and finish it up with some glass sheets. There we go. And now I need to grab a power line to connect where the IC chip is gonna be. So let's place the IC chip somewhere around here to make it be together. So grab this, grab the two IC chips, just place them wherever you want to place them. Doesn't matter. Grab the two chips and place in this slot. Now we need to connect this into the system of the furnace. So we're gonna grab some cable with some wire cutters and connect everything together. Some T-junctions. And it's just gonna leave some space. Always leave some space if you want to add something else later. Okay, now this cable has to connect to that section over there where I have my computer set up already. And don't forget, guys, in order to set up a code, you always gonna need a computer with a IC editor here. Now, first things first, we need to name everything. So now let's start renaming things. So this is gonna be just button. It's gonna be lever. This is gonna be, so this is gonna be the temperature display. It's gonna be the pressure display. And this is gonna be the reagents display. And confirm. Now this I don't need to name because I only have one of each, but in here I'm gonna need to name these pumps. So this is gonna be exhaust pump. This one is gonna be the volume pump. This the coolant pump. And this is gonna be the fuel pump. And that's everything that we need to name. Next, we're gonna need to collect some coolant. So in order to collect some coolant, you can have either a volume pump with a passive vent, or in my case, I'm just gonna use some active vents. So I will grab my pipe that is here, painted the respective color. This case is pink. I know. I'm using pink. Don't judge me for that. And now I need to have a couple of these sections to add a couple of vents, because on this planet the pressure is too low. We work only with one vent. So I'm gonna spawn a couple active vents. Drop my pipe and place my vents in the right spot. So to power up this active vents, I'm just gonna use an RTG because I'm on creative, but you guys can use whatever power you're using. You can connect it to the power of your base, you can create a new system to power this, you can do whatever you desire. So I'm gonna place the RTG here. I'm gonna have a couple cable going from this RTG into the active vents. Now it's set, you turn on the vents, you set to collect gas. And now if I grab my tablet, you guys see that I'm collecting gas into this tank. It is very important that you always have a tank buffer with some coolant. It doesn't matter what type of gas you're adding it. It could be the atmospheric gas, you can have like CO2, whatever you want to add. Just don't add volatiles into the tank, because that will not cool the gas inside the furnace, that will only heat it up more. Okay, now next step is to insert the code. So in order to insert the code, you're gonna leave the link for the codes that you're gonna need in the video description. But then once you have downloaded the codes from the workshop, you just come to, let's just change the names of the IC units so I can know. So it's gonna be furnace control, IC, and this one is gonna be hash control IC. Now we select the proper slot. So this will be the furnace control IC. We select edit, and then you come to the library. Once you download it, already I have the codes with me, but once you download it, you're gonna show up all the codes I have that are yours, or you have downloaded from the workshop. So now we need it's gonna call the basic furnace, the furnace basic advanced control. And override, and this is it. You also have the description here of the code, and this is everything that you need to your furnace to run properly, automated. So confirm and export, and now you activate the housing and deactivate it again. So now you have what exactly each screw does. So now we grab yourself a screwdriver and you go through all the systems until you find the first one is the furnace. So we search for the furnace. The second one is the exhaust pump. So we search for exhaust pump. So it's very important that you add the names correctly, or I mean in this case exhaust pump, because that way it's gonna be easier to find on these screws on the housing. So now we have fuel pump. Next we have the coolant pump. Next we have the dial. Next we have the lever. And here it is. And this is ready. And it should blink green. Should not blink, just give a green light. Next, we're gonna go and select the hash IC, hash control IC, edit, and add the furnace basic advanced hash control. So we load this code here, override, and press confirmed and export. Now we come to this one here, we turn it on, and you have turn it off again, and you have all the dials for the furnace. So now you're gonna have a dial. We need to search for the dial. You need to search for the button and the furnace control IC, this one. So furnace control IC. And this one has no devices, and now turn it on. That should give a green light. If it gives a green light, is everything alright? Now next we need to set up these two consoles. So I'm gonna grab a data disk, and turn this on. And now on this one you gotta search for the hash IC control, or hash control IC. So hash firm and hash IC control, and this is it. And this one is gonna be for the furnace, and there you go. Now we're gonna test if everything is working properly. Now we search the dial, and you see dial number 1 is iron. That means, so this recipe is set to all the basic recipes. So iron, copper, gold, silicon, nickel, lead, and I think that also yeah, and that's it. And then we have steel, invar, solder, and electrum, and constant ton, and that's it. So go to 0. So now you can have, so this is it, the basic furnace. So only need 2 consoles, 1 dial, 1 button, and 1 lever. So there's one thing that you can do to improve the code, the visualization of what's going on in the furnace, with adding these 3 displays. So now we're gonna need another IC code. So IC chip, so here's the IC housing, and now I need the IC. But I cannot find it for some reason. Okay, let's go into, nope. Okay, since you don't want to show up, I'm gonna go into my machine and make one. What if I add IC10? Nope, doesn't show up. Well, it is what it is. Okay, here's your IC chip, and now we add another console here, I mean another slot, IC housing, and insert the IC coordinate, chip in it. Now, we name this, let's say, furnace status IC, confirm, and we do something very simple. We come here, we select the furnace status IC, and we press edit, and we do the code. Also, I'm gonna upload this code into the workshop on the same page. Every single link is gonna be on the video description. So we need alias for the LED temperature, so the temp display, as D0. Alias is very simple code, just read and write. Pressure display as D1. Alias it's gonna be reagents display as D2, and alias furnace as D3. Now we set another aliases for our registers. So we need an alias for the register temperature. So temp is gonna be R0, register 0, alias for the pressure, it's gonna be register 1, and alias for the reagents as register 2. Okay, now we start the main code. So we do main under quotation, so the code knows that is the start of a code. It's not an actual line of code. So press enter, and it load temperature from the furnace, and the variable is gonna be temperature. We load again. Now the pressure from the furnace, and the variable is gonna be pressure. And finally, we load again the reagents from the furnace, and the variable is gonna be reagents. Now we need to set these three values on each LED display. So we set the device. Now we need to have the device, that is the pressure display, the variable resetting, and now the register is gonna be pressure. And we do the same for the temperature and the reagents display. So temp display setting and temperature, and set reagents display setting and reagents. And there you go. Now we do yield and jump back to main, and that's the code done. Confirm, export. Now we grab a screwdriver, we turn it on and off, and now we have all the devices. So first one is temperature display. We search for the temperature display. There it is. Now pressure display, reagents display, and finally the furnace. Goes, and that's it. So now that everything is set up, guys, we're just going to test if everything works properly. So now, let's say I want to smell some invar. So I come here to the dial and select the invar recipe. Here it is, and activate the furnace. Now we'll wait take a couple seconds for this furnace to activate. and to reach the desired pressure of invert, that is around 18 megapascals to 20 megapascals, and a minimum temperature of 1.5 kilo Kelvin. So temperature is good, but pressure is still increasing. So let's wait now. While the furnace increases the pressure and the temperature, we can start adding the ingots, the ores inside the furnace. Now you're gonna wait for our reagents count to reach the number of ores that we added. So in this case, we added around 400 ores, so we need to wait for the 400. Now I need to wait for the furnace to cool down to do its thing. As you can see, the furnace is cooling down. And now it is ready to make invert. So what we do, we press the lever and invert will come out. 400 grams of invert. So what happens now is now the furnace, so we can close now the valve, the lever. Now the furnace, what it's doing is purging all the gas that it has inside. Can you guys see it? Is releasing all the gas. So in order to do the next smelting, we need to wait for all the gas being exhausted from the furnace. So that's it, guys. This is the tutorial how to set your basic automated furnace. So that way you guys don't need to be around the furnace all the time to control everything and adding ice by ice into the furnace in order to be able to smelt stuff. So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I see you guys in next one. Bye bye. Furnace doesn't have any pressure,